Good morning, everyone. I decided to share today a very important subject, especially recently. How to work with our shadow side. What does it even mean? For people who are just awakening and learning about themselves, as well as those who are already on a spiritual path of self realization and continuous learning about themselves, it's all the same. Each individual has a dark shadow side. Some are working with it on a daily basis, and some are denying it on a daily basis. Regardless, it is not going anywhere until you face it and work with it. When I work with my clients and tell them not to hide from themselves and face whatever it is head on, this is what I'm telling them. What can be perceived as your dark side? The dark side may be so-called negative emotions or energies, as we call them. Without necessarily labeling them as such, what we perceive negative is what may seem destructive and not harmonious, destabilizing, and unbalanced. Or you can think of it as the opposite of harmony, balance, peace, joy, and bliss. When we talk about our dark side, we usually mean some deep realization about our hidden, or not so hidden, strong destructive emotions, anger, fear, resentment, or a further layer, deeds and memories, past life memories, nightmares. The only way to deal with your dark side is to accept it and acknowledge it as part of you. Because it is you. It is part of you, like your arm or your head. You are not without it. So are you going to be denying it? No, it's not my arm. Sounds ridiculous. And it is. So until you accept yourself as you are not moving anywhere. As simple as that. Sounds simple, but is it? Of course it is hard to accept some past deeds and where you feel shame, remorse, guilt, even disgust. But that was you. Until you stop denying that you are you are not moving anywhere. And it will keep coming until you process it. Self-sabotage and denial is another excellent example of self-preservation mechanism of not dealing with your shadow side. What about when you find out about yourself having done something so horrendous that you cannot fathom you could have done it? That's a shock, to put it mildly. But again, think of it. You have done it. Period. You must, of course, process this energy and as to the roots, and there are many techniques for deep processing and inner work to achieve it, so that this energy does not return to you in full force again. It may still come back, but on a different level, until you clear all the layers and underlying messages. What I'm trying to convey here is how to deal with it ultimately for better and faster results. Accept it, acknowledge it, take responsibility for your actions, own it. Then you will be able to forgive yourself and move on. I have noticed that more and more people are finally able to work with their shadow side, and it has been a theme in my recent readings. This topic is especially pertinent to various soul origin readings, including astrological readings, natal chart, and galactic soul origin readings. What do you do when your client has a very heavy chart, meaning a natal chart with many negative aspects and overall heavy energies? This came as no surprise that their galactic chart will also show some heavy and rather negative or regressive races, and intuitive confirmation of past lives in that regard. The more layers you add in your holistic reading, the more you see the undeniable similarities and underlying energies. What do you do when you feel and see darkness? Or better yet, darkness without measure? The question is how you deliver this information to your client in a delicate and productive manner. How can you help them? Because you can never know what path a person chose. Natal chart is not finite. No one can tell from a chart what path a person will choose, dark or light. You can see possibilities and opportunities, but the final and ultimate choice is by that person. I have encountered amazing souls with very heavy charts, and they have chosen to overcome the predictions and underlying energies magnificently, using them as propeller to new heights. I have also seen people who have a perpetual choice between dark and light, and they keep stumbling or have fallen over. It is their choice and their path. When I build my charts, I always check a plethora of fixed stars and choose intuitively those that resonate. And when I finally do the reading, all the layers magically intertwine. When you tune in how to deliver this information, you will have your answer. I feel intuitively when and if they are ready to hear it. My approach is to tell my clients of the tendencies and trends. I will share what past lives and star connections are in their charts, and thus may be influencing them in their current lives, and exactly how and how they can address it. If and only if it resonates with them. If it does not, let it go. If they feel deep inside that it might be true, then I would recommend the way to deal with it, as to accept it as a past experience which happened when it happened and in the circumstances as they were. It is a residual energy that comes as a reminder and not as punishment. They can either dive deep into it and process it by following their own intuition and guidance. The feedback has been tremendous and life changing. Therefore, I decided to share it and hope it will help other people. For a heavy chart, especially, I will consider the following readings to take that reading to a whole new level: natal chart, galactic connections to many fixed stars, those that resonate, of course, and totems of zodiac degrees of several traditions, whatever you practice. Speaking of potentially negative races that I have come across in the charts, I cannot stress enough that everything needs to be viewed holistically. Having a certain star in your chart does not mean you have horrible experiences and deeds. It could be quite the opposite. When a soul chooses to incarnate in a heavy environment to counteract it, a soul may also decide to experience oneself as a high dimensional being in that environment, on a mission. Let's consider any possibility as motivation to overcome any obstacles and grow. We can share what we know and feel intuitively, but it is ultimately the individual's choice to agree or not. Hope this helps. Have a blessed day.